This is the story of Cantrelle Ross, a 34-year-old woman who was brutally killed by her lover at her daycare. Her death was especially sad because it occurred at her employment, where she cared for small children. Terrell had a lengthy criminal background, and in this video, we will find out how the story unfolds. Let's watch this video and discover what caused Cantrelle's awful ending. Before we begin this video, we would like to express our deepest sympathies to the family and friends who were severely affected by this horrible crime. We would also like to send condolences to Cantrelle's family and friends. Today's case takes us to Savannah. Savannah, a coastal Georgia city, is separated from South Carolina by the Savannah River. The city has a population of around 147,000 residents. It's known for manicured parks, horse-drawn carriages, and antebellum architecture. Its historic district is filled with cobblestone squares and parks such as Forsyth Park, shaded by oak trees covered with Spanish moss.
Talking about some I don't fuck with her. You can't fuck with me. Just say that. Don't say you don't fuck with me. You can't. And that's why you're mad.
You know what? I could. I really could. But see, the problem is, I don't want to. So that's why. Love you, bye.
Cantrelle Ross was born on April 6, 1990. She was described as outgoing and the life of the party. Her mother described her as an outstanding girl who would do anything to help anyone who needed it. Cantrelle then decided she wanted to work in childcare and progressed from getting trained to wanting to open her own daycare. She was very passionate about her job at Friend Zone Learning, and she enjoyed caring for children. The 34-year-old took some time for herself and dated Terrell Akeem Nelson, 31, despite her hard work and dedication. Although the exact date of the couple's relationship is unknown, Terrell had a criminal history, and we are sadly unsure if she was aware of it. However, despite the fact that all relationships have their ups and downs, theirs was said to be unhealthy. Many believed that Ross and Nelson were experiencing that, but regrettably, it was more than that. On November 28, 2024, the Savannah Police Department responded quickly to reports of shooting in the 1400 block of Augusta Avenue, discovering Ross lying on the ground with several gunshot wounds. Despite the greatest efforts of emergency medical responders, Ross was declared dead at the scene. The authorities have yet to make any arrests in connection with the shooting, and detectives are working feverishly to gather evidence and identify suspects. Amanda Hayes, Cantrelle Ross's mother, used social media to convey her sadness and commitment to seek justice for her daughter's untimely murder. In an emotional message accompanied by a photo, Hayes wrote, "This is the person who murdered my daughter." The post captures the sorrow and determination of a mother seeking answers and justice for her child's needless death. While police were investigating, Terrell Akeem Nelson, 31, was arrested for the murder of his girlfriend, Cantrelle Ross, 34. Terrell is now facing murder, aggravated assault, and parole violation charges in connection with this shooting tragedy. Police have not yet revealed the motive or circumstances behind the crime. Nelson has a lengthy criminal history and previous encounters with law enforcement. This is the 10th time he has been in prison. The most recent charges date back to 2018. According to records, he was just released from prison in 2021 after serving 3 years on the following charges: party to a crime, armed robbery, probation violation, possession of a firearm or knife in the commission of a crime, aggravated assault, and possession of a firearm. He was also charged with murder in 2013 after handing himself in to police. Nelson, who was 19 at the time, and another man were charged with fatally shooting Ahmed Williams on his front porch on 54th Street in March 2013. Both individuals were later acquitted, despite eyewitness testimony from a neighbor in the case.
Well, good evening and thanks for joining us here on The News at 6. I'm Mike Seeler.
And I'm Dawn Baker. Tonight we're learning new details about a Savannah man arrested for his former girlfriend's murder on Thanksgiving. Our Madeline Bierster has been following the story from the very beginning.
She brings us the latest details on the man's criminal history and from the victim's family.
Don, Mike, Savannah police have arrested Terrell Nelson for the murder of his former girlfriend, Cantrelle Ross. She was just 34 years old. Her family heartbroken by this sudden loss and relieved that Nelson is now behind bars. Savannah police say Cantrelle Ross was shot to death on Thanksgiving morning at the daycare center she owned, Friend Zone Learning on Augusta Avenue. SPD responded based on a ShotSpotter notification, but it was too late to save Ross from her injuries. This man, Terrell Nelson, is now facing murder, aggravated assault, and parole violation charges in relation to her shooting death. Nelson is no stranger to law enforcement. This is the 10th time he's been incarcerated. His most recent charges back in 2018. Records show he served 3 years for an armed robbery and aggravated assault, also in Savannah. Nelson was on trial for murder after turning himself into police back in 2013. Nelson and another man were charged with fatally shooting a man on his front porch back in 2013. Both men were later acquitted. Police haven't yet said what the motive or the circumstances were surrounding this shooting. Ross's family says Cantrelle was passionate about her career, and they're devastated she lost her life at the place she loved so much.
She decided she just wanted to go into the child care field and went from her being trained in child care to her wanting her own daycare. She said, "My mama do it." I didn't hesitate. I knew she was going to do it. And these kids were her life. They were her life.
Her family held a candlelight vigil and balloon release this weekend to honor her memory.
She was an outgoing person. She was real live, always the fun of the bunch. And she just was a great person all over. There wasn't nothing she wouldn't do.
Her family says they're thankful for all the prayers and support and for helping to get Nelson's photo out there on social media. They say this is just the beginning in their fight for justice, but at least they have a start. They're urging the district attorney not to make any plea deals with Nelson, saying the punishment needs to fit the crime. Reporting in Savannah, Madeline Bierster, WTOC News.
All right, thanks.
Her family honored her memory with a balloon release and candlelight tribute. In honor of Cantrelle, they lit candles, played music, and let out of her favorite colorful balloons. In addition, they are collecting funds for Ross's funeral in a short while. Unfortunately, Ross was killed by a man with a long criminal background, and as a result, an innocent woman lost her life. We pray that everyone who is impacted by her departure finds solace and serenity in the tragedy. May she rest in peace. If you would like to stay updated with this type of content, please don't forget to like and subscribe. See you on the following video.